Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we are going to make a necklace using our SoftFlex Design Challenge Kit, camp out. And we're going to make a pendant using this guy. Now this is the donut and the snake that were in the kit. I have glued the snake to the donut, and we're going to use the very top of the snake right here where there's you can see the hole coming through there. That's going to be where we're going to hook on our wire to make our pendant. So let's turn down and I'll show you what we're going to do. Okay, here is our little snake piece, and we're going to make that into a pendant by hooking this on like this, and that will be our pendant portion. And then he will hook on by a bail. Where'd my bail go? I know it's in here. This bail is from my stash. He will hook onto this to make our pendant. We're going to put this stuff away right to the side right now. We're not going to make the pendant until after we finish stringing our necklace, which is going to be bail, and then these two really gorgeous beads. I love those. They're going to go on either side, like so. And then we're going to get now I've got two sizes of spacers here. We're going to have a big spacer and then a little spacer on either side. Don't stick to me, of this little earth-like bead. Then we're going to go up next with this. This brown one is the earth. The green one is grass. The little orange is fire. The blue is the sky. And the sky has a star above. Then we're going to do the double set again with a small and a large, and we're going to put this pretty porcelain bead in here. Now we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side, so. Now we're going to then do another set like this above the porcelain type bead. Of course, we're going to have another double set of the spacers here, and then we'll just go up the side. Now we're running off the screen here, but once we get the star on here, then the next thing to do is to put our teardrop in, and our teardrop will go in a bead cap. Come on, baby, go in there. There we go. And then it will be topped by one of these little rondelles. And from there, we're going to put it on a ring. Let's see if I can move this down so you can see it better, what we're going to do here. Well, it's messy now, but then we're going to have this same pattern back over here again. And like I say, the teardrop is going to go in the bead cap, and then this guy on top, and then a ring. So let's get that strung up, shall we? You'll notice I have some suede leather sitting over here. This is for the wrap up the back of our necklace. So we're going to use this antique brass medium that came in the kit. And I'm just going to string it right on the spool. I know how we're going to do it, so we can easily do that. We'll start with our rondelle here. And I didn't put my usual bead stopper over here to keep it from going right into the, there we go. This ring will sit aside for right now because it's going to be crimped onto the guys. So our bead cap and our teardrop. Now we have the big spacer, then the little spacer against that, and then it's time for the little star. Little spacer, blue for sky, little spacer, orange for fire, little spacer, okay, where did I do with my other green? Oh, I have two right here. So, green for the grasses, and brown for dirt. Then we'll do this double space with the little and then the large. Do this porcelain-like bead here. The large and the small. The star. Come on, star. Spacer. Blue. Spacer. Orange. Spacer. Green. Spacer. Brown. Double spacer with the little and then the larger one. There we have this. Now we've got this the pretty earth bead. I love the flash in this bead. It's so pretty. And then the bail. Now at this point you could put something in the bail to have less space. It's not necessary, I don't think, because it won't slide into the bead won't slide into there because it's too big. So gave us a little bit more room here, and we're going to start up the other side then. And that's the exact opposite of what we have here. So the big earth bead, double spacer, brown, and then right on up the line with our pattern from like this side. There we go. There is our strung portion. Shall we see how long that ends up being? I think it's probably at least 12. Well, it looks like it's just shy of 12. So about 11 and a half maybe. So there we go. Now the next step for these is to take our crimp tube and crimp this onto our strand here with the little ring. The little ring is going to hold our leather. So put the crimp tube through, and then our little ring, and we will get our wire back through the crimp tube. Go up to the, and we don't need that much wire up there, so we will take this out of here. There we go. And now we're going to crimp this. So we put the crimp right in the divot here and squish. And turn it and squish again. And continue going around in a circle, squishing until you have no more resistance. So there is this little ring crimped on. And we'll see if this wire will go through these beads. And it should, and it does, so no problem. Now we'll cut this wire over here. We'll get the crimp tube on this side. Come on, baby, go on. As well as over the ring. Now we want to go back through the crimp bead. Excuse me, this is a crimp tube, not a crimp bead. There is a difference. And this needs to go, well, it needs to go through this rondelle, not pop back off. Now I'm not going to put it back down through the cone this time because I won't be able to see where I need to cut it at. So we're going to just pull it up right here. Make sure we're about the same size as the other side. That looks good. Now the next thing we need to make sure of is that we're not got a lot of extra space in here, though we do want it to have a little bit. So we will pull this up just a hair's breadth more, and see, it wants to pop right there and make it much bigger, and we don't want it that much bigger, so we will get hold of our crimp with the pliers right where it needs to be at, and then we will pull this and adjust it. It's probably good there, so crimp it and then turn and crimp again. Okay, and then we'll cut this extra wire off. Now we're at that point where we can either make the pendant and attach it, or we can put the leather on. I think we're going to work on the pendant myself because I do not know how long I want to make it yet, and I have to decide that when I do the leather. So here is our beaded portion of our necklace. Isn't that pretty? And now we need to work on the pendant. So we'll set this aside for right now. And the pendant, I'm just going to need to get a little bit of wire out. and then we will wrap that up. So I've got some 20 gauge wire out. We only need a few inches for this because all we're doing is going to wrap around our snake's neck and then do a simple wrapped loop there and go through our beads and then make a wrapped loop up at the top to hang it to our bell. And when we get to that point, we need to make the choice of, are we going to hang it on our bell with a jump ring, or if we're just going to hardwire it in. And I will probably just hardwire it in. So what we're going to do now that we've straightened this is make the 90-degree turn, get our bell making pliers out. I don't think this needs the bigger one. I think it will be all right with the smaller. Might make the bigger just to give it a little more room to work around though. So then we got this, got our loop here, and I notice I didn't give it enough opening because we're got to put that snake on there. So the snake's going to go through and he's going to pop on right there. And we're going to hold this with our pliers, bringing our wires back together again. And we're going to get our second plier and we're going to wrap this around 2 or 3 times. Little bit more. Actually, I'm going to trim it right now because I don't need very much. I just need enough for it to trim around to the back. So we'll get hold of this again and push that little bit of wire down in. So there we go. And now we'll hook our beads on here. That's going to be our porcelain one here, which will pull it into the necklace here. And this little guy, which also pulls it in because that's up there. So the next step then is to form our loop around our bell. And we want the loop to come this direction because we need to hook it this way. So as you can see, I even have more wire than I needed. I could have probably used another inch less. This one I am going to make the small loop up and over and around. Bring her over, leave a gap so you can put in your bail. There we go. Hold it. Bring this wire up some because she's going to be in the way. She's not going to wrap right otherwise. Then just there we go. That's a little crooked, so we're going to have to straighten it as soon as we get our wire cut and tucked. So we'll cut this here and tuck it in. Now, as you can see, that needs just a tiny bit of straightening. It's going off to the back. So hold your, and there we go. Now, are you guys lined up? Pretty much. You need to come over just a hair's breadth this direction. Let's see here. There we go. So there is our pendant now on our beaded section. Now we just need to get the leather and put it on the, and first though we should decide how long we want it to be, as we are going to have to cut our leather to the proper length. So right now this is about 12 inches. So let's make our necklace be 24 inches. So we would need two 12-inch pieces because I'm going to wrap this. So we're going to do two strands up the back after we do a lark's head knot there. So we want two 12-inch strands. That's one. And two is about here. So there we go, there's our leather. So our next step is to take each of these and bring them, fold them in half. Bring these up, and oh, come on, you. How did I get you to do that? Oh, I know what I did. Okay, now I generally prefer my wrap to go the opposite direction as that, so I will probably change that. I always have to do one first, it seems, before I remember which way to feed it through. So, come on, you guys, through the ring. And I did it the same way again. Maybe we'll just leave them that way, though I do prefer them when they sit like this. So let's turn those around. Let's see. How did we do this? There, that's better on this side anyway. Now we'll have to switch this side. Now, if you wanted, you could put just a dab of glue here by your knot so that it doesn't wiggle around on you too much, but I've never felt it's necessary. Now, the next step is to hook the leather onto your closure. Now, there are a number of different kinds of crimps that you can use to put in to just hold these together. In fact, I have one right here, but it's silver. so I probably won't use it, but what you do is you put your pieces in this. This is a fold over crimp, and then you just fold that in those little sides down. You could add a touch of glue to this as well, as if you feel like it needs something a little sturdier. There's also a couple of different kinds where you stick your leather inside and then either glue it or crunch it down. But I'm not sure which way I want to go with this. I was thinking I would just wrap it through another ring and then just wire wrap the ends here across, which is what I usually do. But and then you put a jump ring, a lobster claw on one side and a jump ring on the other side through the loop here. But I'm still deciding how I want to close this. So I have decided just to use the little fold over clasps. But since the leather, there's only one little pin. See, it holds right here, and that helps it hold it in place. So I am going to take and bring my leather together. Make sure they're pretty even here. And I'm going to take and put a drop of Loctite glue, as long as this isn't sealed closed. There we go. And I'm going to put them one on top of the other so that they stick together. Then we'll put it in the fold over right where it needs to go. Oop, come on, baby. And we'll take our pliers and fold these over. You fold the first one, then you turn over and fold the second. Get you down in there. Now what I'm doing here is sort of pushing those pieces together a little tighter so that they won't come out. So there's the first one. And as you can see, it's a little bit, looks a little bit wonky here, but that's all right. We can adjust our knot down here if we need to get it straighter. So now we do the same thing with the other one. Get the leather up pretty close to each other. Put a drop of Loctite super glue on it. Close your bottle up now so that it doesn't go and dry out on you. And then put the leathers together. Come on. Go together. Okay. Look. And try not to stick it to your fingers. Though, frankly, when I'm using glue, I usually get it all over my fingers. It never fails. So hold this sort of down in here. Get your pliers out. And start your folds going. Come on, baby, stay in place. Okay. Now that we've got those on, we're going to put on our lobster claw and our jump ring. There's the jump ring on this side. Hear that pop, it went into place. Then we get a littler jump ring. Go through this side. Okay, and you just hook it together. Come on, baby, go on here. And there is our necklace, though I can see that I've got my, these are pulled up. So I may put a little bit of glue on these to keep them from pulling up like that, because it sort of drives me nuts. On the other hand, we want to make sure that our leather is the same length before we do that. See, this one's good. So I may just put a little drop of glue right underneath where these come together here. And I think I'm going to use hypo cement to do that instead of, because for one thing I can get into little spots easier with it. So we'll just put it right in here and pull that. So that side was pretty good, so I'm not too worried about its length and stuff. How about you? You're pretty good too. So we'll drop a hypo cement that's pulling out of my tube in there. We'll close that up. And then we'll get our hypo cement closed. Come on, where are you at? Wipe the tip off. It doesn't want to go in because I can't see it. Wow, usually I can get this in a lot easier than this. There we go. So there's our necklace, all finished. Though she doesn't want to sit quite right with the leather, but that's all right. There she is. Let's see what our finished length is. It should be about 12 inches. Exactly. So it's 24-inch necklace, got leather in the back, beading up the front, and in our necklace, our little snake here. So there we go. There is our snake, and this donut I believe is ocean jasper. So with our leather, there she is. Hope you enjoy making this really pretty necklace with me. This is made from the SoftFlex kit Camp Out, which I believe is sold out. I could be wrong, but I think it is. And I think it turned out quite pretty. I hope you enjoyed making this with me. We will see you next time. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden. And again, this pretty necklace is made out of beads and items from the SoftFlex Design Challenge Kit Camp Out. Bye-bye.